Hey everybody, Mrs. K here with another art lesson. So this week we're talking about value. So for today's project, I'm going to teach you how to draw a cone and give it value. So a cone as a shape is going to be a triangle. So on the side of my paper, not in the middle, I'm going to draw the start of a triangle here, but I'm going to give it a round bottom. Like that. The difference between a cone and a pyramid is that a pyramid has flat sides and a cone is all the way like smooth around. I'm going to trace it in Sharpie just so you can see the outline a little bit clearer. My cone, okay? So this right now is 2D. It's a shape, okay? The shape is a triangle. We're going to make it 3D, and that shape is called a cone. And we do that by adding value, okay? So value means the lightness and darkness of a color. I'm going to draw a little sun over here. Okay, to remind me that this side is going to be lighter than this side. The side that's closest to the light source, that's what the sun is, a light source. Light source. The side that's closest to it is going to be the lightest color. The side in the middle is going to be about a medium darkness, and this side is going to be darkest because it's furthest away. Okay, so to make this easy, I'm going to kind of divide. I'm going to draw really lightly because I don't actually want them to show up. My cone into 3 different parts. 1, 2, 3. I drew from the point down. So now it's like I have 3 little wedges. Okay. And the first side, I'm going to draw it very, very light. My lines are going to go up and down like this. And I'm holding closer to like the back of my pencil. And I'm just lightly going to color this in. You want it all to be the same shade of gray. Okay, so this is my lightest version of this color, okay? This side here, the lightest side, is going to be called the highlight. Highlight. It's the lightest version of my color. My color is gray because that's the color of my pencil. The next one this one here is going to be called the midtone. Midtone. It's going to be a little bit darker than our highlight. Okay, so now we have our highlight and we have our midtone, okay? Light gray, medium gray. To make this thing look a little bit more 3D, I'm going to show you a trick at the end so it doesn't look so cut into 3 parts. this side here is going to be the darkest side. Okay, we're going to call this the shadow. Actually, we can call it the core shadow. Core shadow. Okay, it's going to be dark. Notice I'm holding a little bit closer my pencil. The closer that you hold it, the darker you can press. So here you can only press really so hard. Closer to the eraser, you can only press pretty light. But holding it close to the tip, you can color, you have more control over the pencil, so you can color pretty dark. Oops. Okay, so we have our highlight, our midtone, and our core shadow here. Goes from light, medium to dark because our light source is over here. This side is closest to the light source. This one is kind of closest, the second closest, and this one is furthest away. So a trick to make this look a little bit more 3D is to take your pencil, and I'm holding it in the middle, and it's lightest over here, but then I slowly press a little bit harder. Slowly press a little bit harder so that the closer it gets to my core shadow, it darkens up just a little bit. So we gradually want it to fade all across. We're going to try to blur essentially that line there. And then here I can do the same thing. I'm just going to press a little bit harder. Just kind of like do like a second little skim coat of lightness, just right over where that edge is. Trying to get that line to fade. It's kind of like right now we have two things that are like this. We have like a solid line between, and we want them to blend. Here, it's a little bit easier. I'm just going to press super, super hard here on the edge. And then I'm going to slowly lighten up the pressure on my pencil. Press hard and slowly lighten up the pressure. And then same thing here. We're just going to fade over that line just a little bit. Okay, so now it looks a little bit more 3D. Okay, the glare. Okay, so we have one more thing, and that's going to be called the cast shadow. That's the shadow that reflects on the ground. So if you were standing outside in the sun, you'd see your shadow on the ground. That's called a cast shadow because your object is casting it on the ground. Okay, it's the reason why it's on the ground. So this is going to be kind of like a stretched out cone. I'm going to curve it just a little. Like that. Okay. Now the core shadow, or I'm sorry, cast shadow, that's what this is. Cast shadow is going to be darkest where it touches the object. I'm going to color super hard with my pencil. Right next to the object. And the further it gets away from the object, because the object is blocking the light, it gets lighter and lighter. So the further away it gets a little bit more light. And so it can get lighter and lighter and lighter closer to the point. So this is like gradually going to fade. Just lightening up the pressure on my pencil, pushing less hard each time I get further away. Okay, so now I have my cone. It started out as a shape, started out as a triangle. Now it's a 3D cone. Okay, objects that are 3D are called forms. Okay, so it's no longer a shape, it's no longer two-dimensional, it's three-dimensional, 3D. It's called a form. That form is called a cone. All right, guys, now let's talk about the type of technique that I used to create this value. The value technique that I used is called shading, or it can be called gradient. Okay, last week we talked about value scales. We did cross-hatching, we did hatching, and we did gradient. This is a gradient, okay? Because my pencil just slowly gets darker and darker. It's a continuous movement with my pencil. You can do hatching and cross-hatching as well. I just didn't do it today. Okay, guys, I hope you have fun. I'll see you later. Bye.